It going, everyone? I am back with another video. This is going to be my Week 11 recap, where I'm going to go through all the NFL games that took place this past week and, well, weekend, most of them, obviously the Thursday game, and break down my thoughts of the games, how the games went, my takeaways, all that good stuff. So I'll just dive straight in here. Here we go. Starting off with a good note. So, first game was the Thursday game. Obviously, it was Jets, Patriots. And I won't talk too much about this game because I made a video exclusively on it, breaking down, every Pats game like I do every week. So, check that out if you're interested. But my big takeaway from this one is not the prettiest win, not, the most complete, what's the efficient performance? That's what I was looking for. Not the most efficient, complete, pretty performance from us, but we got the job done against, obviously the Jets are bad, but Thursday night, weird things happened. Divisional game, the Jets won 2 in a row. They got the ball and went right down the field and scored. And I'm like, I wasn't concerned because it happens to us like every game. It feels like our defense allows an opening drive touchdown, but our offense was good. We had a lead at the half. We should have been up 10, and Borregales made the field goal. We were kind of letting the Jets hang around when it felt like we should have put them away. We couldn't. Fields had a horrible fumble, like 7 minutes left. We recovered it. It was, we were right next to the end zone. Couldn't get it. Had to settle for a field goal. We would have scored there. That would have been the dagger. Let the Jets hang around. They're mounting a drive, and 2 minutes hits and incomplete pass and fourth down. After that, we just ran the clock out, got a first down with Henderson, won the game, and May nailed it. So we let the Jets hang around probably a bit more than I would have liked. So not the most comfortable win. Again, not the prettiest win, but we got the dub. Offense had its moments where it looked good, had some moments where did not look too good. Defense, for the most part, looked good, besides letting Fields run wild. But besides that, defense played solid. Didn't allow a first down in the first half after the Jets' opening drive touchdown. Milton Williams is on IR. That's going to be a big blow to us. Hopefully he can come back healthy when he's eligible to get off IR. But yeah, the Jets, they bench Fields. Tyrod Taylor is going to be getting the start this week for them. They play Baltimore. That's going to be a disaster for them, I think. But yeah, not too many takeaways from this game that I pretty much talked about it in my other video. So check that out if you're interested. But happy my team got the dub. We were the number 1 seed in the AFC until Denver upset the Chiefs. So at least we got the number 1 seed for the time being. We still had a good shot at it. We have, analytically speaking, they put up a graphic during this game that we had the best odds in the AFC to get it. So that's good. But yeah, not the prettiest wins, but we got the dub. I'll take it. Jets hung around, but they lost, per usual. Oh boy. Commanders, Dolphins. Yeah, Miami was lucky to win this game. Washington, to me, outplayed them, and they just kept making mistakes. Fourth down, the game's tied. They go for it in the end zone. They have exactly what they want. Ertz one-on-one with inside leverage, and he slips on the route. Matt Gay at the end of the game to basically win it with a field goal, misses it. They got the ball in overtime start, and Mariota threw a pick. Dolphins just ran it with A-Chain, then just kicked the field goal. A-Chain went wild in this game. I kind of thought he would have a big game. I talked about it a bit when I was previewing this game, my Week 11 score predictions video. I thought A-Chain would have a good game. He did. He went off. The Commanders had a really tough time tackling him. Washington only scored 13 points, so they moved the ball really well for a good portion of this game. I felt like their drive just took forever, and they didn't score on some of them due to self-inflicted wounds like that Ertz slipping play I mentioned there. Miami, not the prettiest performance by any means. It just felt like a game between two bad teams. Dolphins grinded the win out. They're still trying to keep their slim playoff hopes alive. They're 4-7 now. I think they play some bad teams, so maybe they, can get going here, get on a win streak. Who knows? Commanders, their season's a disaster. They're on life support for any playoff hopes. They need to win out if they want any chance, but even if they do that, I don't think they're going to make it. But yeah, they're having a disaster of a season. Injuries. tough losses at the last second. Tough season for Washington. Tough one for them here. Probably should have had it. Dolphins honestly got a bit fortunate to win the game, but at least they got the dub. Good for them in this one. Oh, I have a score error here. There we go. It was 44 that the Bills scored correct. Let me double check. I knew I was going to miss one. Let's see here. Yep. Okay. There we go. I knew I was gonna miss something there, miss something up. But yeah, Bucks Bills. Well, this was a shootout. Both defenses played pretty poorly. The Bills were sloppy early on. Josh Allen had some bad turnovers. I feel like through portions of this game, Tampa was gonna win the game. They took the lead. There was a bunch of lead changes in this game. It was absolutely ridiculous. Sean Tucker had a legacy game. He went off. The Bucks put up 32 points. You think they're going to win. If I was told they're putting up 32 points before the game, I probably would have picked them to win, but not how it happened, obviously. Josh Allen, after sloppy turnovers, well, it wasn't just Josh Allen, but Josh Allen had 6 touchdowns in this game, so he went off. But even still, it just feels like something's a bit off with this Bills team. They play the Texans tonight. That should be a really interesting game. I'll talk about that once I upload my Week 12 Thursday night score prediction. Yeah, very intriguing game there. Yeah, something's a bit off with the Bills, even though they went off. Tampa's defense obviously played horrible, got a few turnovers, but besides that, they played awful. They have a tendency where they kind of slump in the middle of the year with Todd Bowles, and they end up picking it up, and they finish like 9-8, 10-7, something like that. Win the division because it's a bad division. I just think they're kind of stuck in neutral with Todd Bowles, stuck in the mud. Just 9-8, 10-7 team every year. Start off hot, get a slump in the middle of the year, finish the season hot. I just feel like that, maybe win a playoff game, then lose in the divisional round. I feel like that's kind of the Todd Bowles era with the Bucks. I'm a big Tom Brady guy, so I am not the biggest fan of what Todd Bowles did in the 22 season for Brady's last year. Him and Byron Leftwich, I think, ruined Tom Brady's season. The fact that Tom Brady made the playoffs with that coaching staff is an absolute miracle. Of course, I'm not surprised it's Tom Brady, but anyway, back to this game. Feels like the Bucs are cooling off a bit. As I mentioned, they're in that slump. Feels like they hit every year in the middle of the season. Baker's cooled off a bit from the MVP talks. Injuries starting to catch up with the Bucs. I'm sure they'll be better once they get guys back. And regardless, I think they'll finish the season. I think pretty well. I think, again, 9, 10, 11 wins, somewhere around there. Once they get their guys back, that'll help. So I think they'll win the division. Not that that's bold or anything. Bills, they needed this win to stay up in the division's race with my team, the Patriots. So big win for them. Hopefully they lose tonight to the Texans. But yeah, shootout, entertaining game. Offenses went off. But once the Bills stopped turning it over, you kind of felt they were going to win the game. And the Bucs, once they punted on a 4th and short, I forget how many points they were down, but they're down points in the 4th quarter. They punted. I'm like, yep, that's game right there. So yeah, good win for the Bills. Shootout defense. I don't think it's been too good this season. Bucs hitting that midseason slump, like always. It feels like. Packers Giants. This was an entertaining game. It felt like the Giants may steal this game through portions of it. Winston played good, and we know with Jameis Winston, he's a gunslinger. He's bound to probably turn it over at least once a game. And well, he did that in this game in literally the worst possible time. He's thrown into the end zone, down 7, like 30 seconds left, and he throws a pick. I'm like, oh my God, Jameis. He played pretty good besides that. Packers were down, I think, in the 4th quarter at one point, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, because they were down 19-20 because the wind was ridiculous in this game. They missed, I think, 2 extra points. Love had a ridiculous touchdown pass. I forget who caught it, but ridiculous catch. And then yet they got the 2-pointer. Then the defense held on. The Giants had all 3 of their timeouts after Winston threw the pick. So the Packers obviously ran it 3 times. They punted, and then Micah Parsons got Winston on the last play of the game as he was trying to throw a Hail Mary into the end zone, and the Packers won the game. So Packers, the offense played good. They moved the ball. Jordan Love got hurt in this game. He came back. Josh Jacobs got hurt. He's out. He was out. I think he got hurt in at the start of the second quarter. He was out the rest of the game. He's questionable. The team I have him on anyway is a complete disaster fantasy wise. Half my team's injured, so it's a complete disaster anyway. So I'm like, I had him for an anytime touchdown score, of course. So I had him in my touchdown parlay, which all of them hit except Jacobs, obviously. But I think DraftKings refunded me, so thank you, DraftKings. But what else? I was going to say something about this game. Blanking on it. Anyway, yeah, Packers. I think their offense played well. They moved the ball. Defense, you got the ball moved on it, but they held up. Giants were in it. They could have won it. There's definitely a path they could have won it, and they lost in the end. Tough one for them here. They've had some tough breaks this year, but for the Packers, needed a win. They got it. Good rebound game from the Packers. Bengals Steelers. Oh boy. So the score is a bit misleading. It was close in the fourth quarter. It was a one possession game, and then the Steelers got a pick six, and then they got a fumble return for a touchdown. So the score is a bit misleading. Yes, technically the Steelers blew the Bengals out, but it came two touchdowns, 14 points came in the fourth quarter from two turnovers. The Bengals offense didn't do too much in this game. Flacco definitely had his worst game as a Bengal. I figured the Steelers defense may change some things. They play a bit better than the first matchup where they got absolutely torched, but I didn't think they'd play this well. Steelers defense, it's had a couple games this season where it looks good, then it has some games where it looks bad, but this game, they look great. The Bengals offense didn't get a lot going. The Bengals defense actually played well for a majority of the game. And obviously another story. Rodgers got hurt. He broke his wrist. He's still trying to play this week, so that's crazy. Rudolph came in. He played fine. He played pretty well. Really serviceable backup. Obviously, he's been with the Steelers for multiple stints now. So I think they'll be okay with Mason Rudolph. Obviously, they're going to be much better with Rodgers, but Rudolph, I think, will hold the fort down for them while Rodgers heals if he can't play this weekend. But yeah, Cincy's defense kept them in the game for a while, even though the offense wasn't doing much. So pretty much the opposite of most of the games the Bengals have had this season. 14 of the points weren't on the Bengals defense. Wasn't their fault. Ja'Marr Chase spitting and Jalen Ramsey, he got suspended in time to play my team. So that's a boost for us, even though it looks like Burrow might be coming back. So that's a bit of a surprise. He's practicing. So that's a surprise. The reports were maybe December. But who knows? We'll have to see if he plays this week. But yeah, Steelers needed a win. They got it. Defense played good. So good bounce back win for them. The Bengals, their season, they pretty much need to win out if they want any chance whatsoever at making the playoffs. So it looks like they're cooked even if Burrow comes back. So yeah, tough one for the Bengals here. Oh boy, not a great season for them, but Steelers could bounce back win. Oh boy. I honestly don't think there's too much to recap in this game. The Chargers just got absolutely annihilated. They played absolutely horrible. The Jaguars just steamrolled them. Herbert looked awful. The line is we knew it, but this game exhibited even further. The line is a complete disaster for Herbert. He's going to get killed by the time the season's over. The Chargers fans I saw started a petition to cryogenically freeze Herbert for the rest of the year so he doesn't get murdered behind the line. That's how bad it is. Jags defense, they're getting back into the groove of forcing turnovers that they were at the beginning of the year, and they just shut the Chargers down. The Chargers did not have much going for them in this game. The Jags just ran, they passed, they did whatever they wanted on the Chargers. The Chargers, this was just a disastrous performance. The Jags are looking great, though. It looks like they are making a legitimate push for the playoffs, so that's not something many people would have predicted before the season. I thought they were going to kind of fade back into around a 500 team, which I think they'll finish around there, but they're certainly not playing like it at the moment. So credit to them. Great win here to dominated the Chargers. The Chargers just feels like since they started off 3-0, and yes, injuries a large part of that, they haven't been the same since. And I know they were on a win streak coming into this game, but oh boy, they just feels like something's off with them. Obviously, the injuries, the line, the running back injuries, they get a bunch of injuries everywhere, but something's off with the Chargers clearly. like credit to the Jaguars, they just absolutely annihilated the Chargers here. Texans Titans. So yep, like most people probably thought going into this game, low scoring game, defensive game. Tennessee, the Texans were leading for a majority of the second half, up by 7, and then Tennessee tied it, and then Davis Mills had a big third down throw to I think it was Collins. Not 100% sure. I think it was Collins, and then they ended up getting in field goal range, got a walk-off field goal to win. Houston must-win game for them. They got the dub. They could not afford to lose to this Titans team and fall to 4-6. So much needed win. The Texans got it. Tennessee, stay competitive division game coming off the bye. So thought they may be a bit more competitive than some people may have thought going into the game. So giving them credit for that. But yep, another loss to them. Calvin Ridley out for the year, broke his leg. So yeah, Cam Ward, just his disastrous season with no help around him. It's getting even worse. Oh boy. At least they hung around, made it a competitive game. They were leading for a decent portion of it. They actually might have been leading at the half, if I remember. I'm not 100% sure, but I think they were. But yeah, defensive game, Texans got it done. Not the prettiest win, but they got the job done. All that matters. Good for them. Titans, tough one here. Bears Vikings. Yep. The Bears, again, they find a way to win close games in the end. It's kind of like the Commanders of last season, which I didn't even think about. My good friend Nate, shout out Nate if you're watching this video, he said that when we were texting about the game. So that's actually a really good analogy. But yeah, the Bears just they keep doing it somehow. It's the complete opposite of what we're used to with the Bears. They usually choke games, so they get blown out or things like that. They lose in heartbreaking fashion. But yeah, Chicago's up in this game. They're dominating. McCarthy looked absolutely horrible, like he has most of his career. He honestly just looked like the worst quarterback I think I've seen in my entire life, with the exception of the fourth quarter against the Bears week 1. And then the Lions game, he randomly played well, but he's looked absolutely abysmal since then. He's missing throws. He has 2 picks. The Vikings defense was keeping him in it, and they're down 13, get a touchdown. The Bears miss the field goal. I'm like, all right, well, if the Vikings are going to take the lead, it's going to come down to the Bears offense so they can get the job done. And J.J. McCarthy, 2-minute drill, leads a touchdown drive, and then the Bears down 1. They get a big kickoff return, and from there they get it in field goal range, get a walk-off field goal to win the game with Santos. So yeah, the Bears, AFC North, the division leader at the moment, who would have pictured that coming into the season, especially after the first 2 weeks. They're 7-1 after their 0-2 start, so that's very impressive. Now, is it sustainable to keep winning like this? I don't think so. Again, their defense relies on getting a bunch of turnovers at critical times. They did that in this game, but I don't think that's going to happen against the elite teams. If McCarthy was just accurate, the Vikings would have been fine in this game. They probably would have won, missed some open guys. But yeah, the Bears, NFC North division leaders right now, credit to them, bouncing back after the horrific 0-2 start, especially that beatdown against Detroit week 2. So yeah, Bears, credit to them. Caleb Williams, I'm not the biggest Caleb Williams fan. I don't think he's too great, but he does have an elusive ability to him where it looks like he's going to get sacked and he somehow escapes. I think he only had like a 50% completion percentage, but that's it just feels like he's always hovering around a lower completion percentage, but it doesn't matter because the Bears keep winning. Yeah, Vikings, they need to really figure what the hell J.J. McCarthy is doing. I mean, if they can get him just play mid, the Vikings will be a decent team. They're a decent team with him playing this bad. Imagine if he just plays mediocre. So Vikings, I think they're going to kind of hover around 500 the rest of the season. They'll probably have some games like this the rest of the year here. Tough one for them. They probably should have won it. But the Bears, credit to them. They keep finding ways to win. Panthers, Falcons. So the Falcons are a disaster. They need to fire Raheem Morris. I can't believe. I'm honestly surprised they didn't fire him after this game. I think he'll probably get fired at the end of the year, and probably Zach Robinson as well. Atlanta's up 21-6, or it was 21-3, and then I think it was 21-6. for a good portion of the game, Penix got hurt. If he stayed in, maybe Atlanta would have won. Probably would have won. But Penix got hurt. He actually needs season-ending surgery, so it's going to be Kirk Cousins the rest of the way for Atlanta. But yeah, the Falcons are at multiple scores, and then they just allow Bryce Young to just look like Joe Montana against them. I mean, Bryce Young against the Falcons may be the best quarterback in NFL history. He absolutely torched them last season too. Obviously, they at Week 18 in a must-win game for the Falcons. Bryce Young torched them. They win in overtime in Atlanta. They win in overtime here too. Obviously, Carolina beat Atlanta 30-0 earlier in the year. So I guess the Panthers they have the Falcons number. And what else in this game? Oh, so yeah, Bryce Young went off. He couldn't be stopped. Kirk Cousins, he didn't look too great, but Carolina up 3 at the end of the game, and Kirk Cousins leads a game-tying field goal drive. I'm honestly surprised the Falcons made the kick with Zane Gonzalez. And then in overtime, Atlanta gets the ball. Then they punt it to Carolina, and Tommy Tremble makes a ridiculous play. Carolina gets a walk-off field goal. Now, Carolina is, I think, only a half game back of Tampa. They both have 6 wins, but Tampa's played. Actually, I forget the tiebreaker, but I just know I'm pretty sure Tampa has a half game lead over Carolina. Now, I don't think Carolina's going to win the division, but I mean, they're obviously in the running, which I don't think many people would have thought 11 weeks into the season would be the case, but here we are. But yeah, credit to the Panthers to come back in this game. They looked like they were cooked most of this game. They came back. Bryce Young played great. He got hurt like twice in this game and still went off. But yeah, the Falcons are just a disaster. Another choke job. Oh, they get so much talent and they just misuse it. Sad to see. The Seahawks Rams. This was a really interesting game. The Seahawks should have won this game. Sam Darnold had 4 turnovers, 4 picks, and they're kicking a field goal at the end of the game to try to win it. Now, granted, it was a 62-yard or something like that. So obviously the chances of making it are, not too high. But I mean, Darnold has 4 picks, and Seattle still nearly wins the game there. Their defense played good. They forced a timely turnover on Puka Nacua. They got the ball out. So that was big for them. The Rams defense obviously played great. I don't know if it's something they do, but Darnold obviously played horrible against them in the wild card game last year. He played pretty poor in this game, so I don't know what the hell the Rams defense does to Darnold, but clearly he is off his game against the Rams. But yeah, the Rams defense, they kept holding the Seahawks to field goals in the end zone instead of touchdowns. Obviously, that was big. The only touchdown Seattle got was just a few seconds before the 2-minute warning with Kenneth Walker, which it's a miracle they didn't sub him out for Charbonnet like do every freaking time. I have him on 2 fantasy teams, Kenneth Walker. But yeah, the Rams, they went 3-0, or actually, well, they got a first down. Then and then the Seahawks stopped them. They passed on 3rd down, stopped them. And Seattle has the ball. They had it like their own 10, but they worked it to like the 40 with literally a second left. Now, I don't know why the Rams defender touched. Who the hell caught the pass? I forget who got the pass, but I don't know why the Rams defender touched him. Because if you don't, unless I'm mistaken, the game's over. He touched him with a second left. Now, it didn't matter, obviously, in the result at the end anyway, because the Rams won the game, but still, I don't know. Maybe I'm mistaken. But yeah, Stafford played. I mean, he didn't play great in this game. The Seahawks defense played really good, obviously, like most games. Kept them in it despite the 4 picks. The Rams offense didn't do too much. The Seattle offense, significantly outgained the Rams in yardage. I think they had more yards per play. All the yardage stats, things like that, just the turnovers killed them. So they can clean that up for the rematch. They'll be in pretty good shape. But Stafford played pretty solid in this game. Another short touchdown to Adams. Team should just put all 11 defenders on Adams in the red zone at this point, for Christ's sake. It's like I would joke in the 21 season that teams can put all 11 defenders on Cooper Kupp and just leave everyone else wide open, and Stafford would still throw it to Kupp. That's like what he does to Adams in the end zone. It's friggin' insane. But yeah, battle between arguably the 2 best teams in football. The Rams came out on top. They're the division leaders. Seattle, I think, is going to be fine. Darnold, I think, will play much better. moving forward. So Seattle, I think, will be fine. They play the Titans this week. That could be a disaster for Tennessee. But yeah, the Rams, big win here in a big game, leading the division. Good for them. Seattle, tough one here, but they're in good shape. They can just for the rematch. They can just cut down Darnold's turnovers. Niners, Cardinals. Yeah, the score is a pretty good indicator of this game. The 49ers, I mean, right off the bat, they did kickoff return down on the goal line, then they punch it right in with McCaffrey. They're up multiple scores most of the game. The Cardinals are trailing. Purdy looked good. The defense played pretty good most of the game. Brissett had a pick. Brissett set the NFL record for the amount of completions in a game with 47, so that was insane. But yeah, his team lost 41-22. So I mean, you lose by 19 points, so it doesn't even matter. But yeah, Brissett, tough one. I like Brissett. 2 stints with the Patriots. But yeah, Cardinals are just a mess right now. I think Gannon's probably getting fired at the end of the year. Maybe it looked like after that Dallas win, they may, have found something out. They're putting some things together, but not been the case since. Back-to-back blowout losses. They got killed by Seattle the week prior. Now they're getting dominated by the Niners, who they probably should have beat the first time, but they blew it at the end. Niners, I mean, they're a dangerous team even with the injuries. If they had their guys, they would be a legitimate Super Bowl contender. I don't think they are because of all the injuries, but I think they'll probably make the playoffs and maybe win a playoff game. And who knows after that? I don't think, they'll get much further than that, but who knows? Especially this season. Things are weird this season. But yeah, Cardinals, obviously a not great performance. The Niners look good. Purdy looked good. Kind of quieted the Mac Jones talk, another former Patriot. So, yeah, Purdy looked good. Niners, good win. Cardinals, not a good game. All right, let me take a sip of water before I talk about this game. Okay. Chiefs, Broncos. So this game went very similar to how people expected, lower scoring, not a lot of touchdowns, tight throughout, defensive battle, low scoring. The result is not what a lot of people predicted. I thought the Chiefs would win. I picked them to win. I thought there would be a bit more offense in this. I thought the Chiefs' offense would do better. I thought Denver's defense would play a good game, but not as good as they played. The Chiefs had a couple of drives where they moved the ball but had to settle for field goals. That's the problem with the Chiefs the past couple seasons is their offense, every drive, it's just dink and dunk. Wide receiver screen, 5-yard hitch route. They do that down the field. It's 10-plus play drives. And then they stall out. It's like they take all that time and it's for 3 points. Now, their defense always keeps it within a 1-score game, it feels like. So they have the luxury to do that. But if, let's say, I don't know, a team, oh boy, LaMelo Ball open to trade. Oh boy. Hornets are increasingly frustrated with the organization. Well, that's understandable. Anyway, back to this game here. Back to the topic. They have the luxury of their defense always keeping it a 1-score game. Now, if Kansas City gets behind multiple scores, they're not built like the old Chiefs. They're going to actually have to attempt passes consistently, that aren't checkdowns. They're not built like that. So it didn't really apply in this game, but just a kind of another thing I hate watching with the Chiefs there. But yeah, Denver, their defense played really good. Mahomes to open the second drive has a pick six. So it's one of the worst passes I've ever seen a quarterback throw. Gets bailed out with a penalty that I don't even think he knew was thrown on the play. And then he throws a pick later in the drive, too. So he throws 2 picks on the same drive. That was big. Felt like the Chiefs were about to take the lead, take control of the game. The Chiefs, when they scored that touchdown in the fourth, I'm like, oh, yeah, I think they're going to win the game here. Denver may tie it because they blocked the extra point, which is ironic considering the fact Kansas City should have lost to them in the first matchup last season, but blocked the field goal. Should have gotten swept by them. And so, kind of ironic, Denver blocked the extra point, made a big difference later in the game. I figured Denver may tie it. The Chiefs probably get a BS flag, get them into field goal range and win off that or something. There's 3rd and 19. Mahomes throws a prayer, gets bailed out with a flag, per usual. Um, I mean, it was the correct call, but it's just annoying. Riley Moss always gets torched and flagged, I feel like. Um, what else? What else? What else? See, a low scoring Denver clutch drive late, that 3rd and 15. I'm like, all right, well, they're not getting this. They're punting. They're going to lose the game. They got it to Sutton. And, fast forward, they get another clutch 3rd and short to Sutton. I think it was 3rd and 6. Or, yeah, I'm pretty sure it was 3rd and 6. He was 3rd and 4, 3rd and 6. I think 3rd and 6. And then Troy Franklin, that was a tongue twister for some reason, gets a big catch, and Denver gets a walk-off field goal, which again is ironic because they lost to the Chiefs last season on a blocked field goal. So it came full circle. The Chiefs, I kind of predicted going into the year that all of the one-score wins and all the luck they had last season, I think they had the single luckiest season in the history of sports last year. I think it's going to rear its ugly head for them, and they're going to lose some tough games on some tough plays and, crazy plays, things like that. And that's shown. They're 0-5 in one possession games this season. They were undefeated last year. So that's satisfying to see. Kate the Chiefs, obviously. It would have been better for the Patriots if Denver lost because we would have still been the 1 seed. But Denver, due to tiebreakers, is the 1 seed right now, even though we're both 9-2. But yeah, Denver, not the prettiest wins that they get all the time, but they keep getting wins. That's all that matters. The offense, I thought, consistently moved the ball well for portions of the game, even though the score wouldn't necessarily reflect that. But yeah, a lot of field goals, not too many touchdowns as a lot of people expected. And yeah, even though it would have been better for the Patriots if Denver lost, always thrilled when the Chiefs lose. Cannot stand them, hate them so much. So that was exciting to see. And it was exciting to see Nick Wright on First Things First get clowned the next day, that next morning. What else from this game? Yeah, just impressive for Denver. Nick's clutch drive should be 3-0 against the Chiefs. They don't get lucky with the block kick. And yeah, Denver 9-2. It looks like the Chiefs are going to have to get in as a wild card. The division's on life support. So that's going to be good to see. Would not want to play them as a wild card still, but they get a big game against the Colts, so they lose that. Oh boy, their playoff hopes are going to even, go down even more, decrease. So yeah, Denver, great win for them. They said internally it's like the biggest game since the biggest home game since the AFC Championship game in 2015, which we should have won that game. Gostkowski had made the first extra point, but that's okay. They got the job done. It's credit to them. They're 9-2. Good to see the Chiefs at 5-5. Ravens Browns. This was an interesting game. The Browns defense. Oh boy, I feel bad. Their defense played great in this game. Kept them in it. They kept getting turnovers. I mean, Myles Garrett had 4 sacks, and Lamar he had 4 on Lamar. He had 5 on Drake May. I mean, absolutely insane. I mean, he knew they were going to be bad, but re-signed there. I feel bad for Garrett. The defense played great. The offense really struggled. The big story, the Browns were leading most of this game. It felt like Baltimore was going to lose. They kept getting opportunities, couldn't do much with them. And then once they were in a fake tush push play, and Mark Andrews got a touchdown out of it, you kind of knew that was the game. It felt like big story. Obviously, Shedeur coming in, getting his first NFL reps, and he did not play good. He really struggled. He only completed 4 passes, I think. But yeah, he on the game-winning drive, he almost had a touchdown. He had a nice opening drive play to, I think it was Fanton over the middle for a bit, like 20-something yard gain, and he's thrown it in the end zone. The guy caught it. I forget who it was, but he caught it, and then it was swatted out, and then on a 4th down, it was just incomplete. And Baltimore won, by far not the prettiest win for them. Lamar had a few turnovers. One of them wasn't his fault. A screen pass, he hit Keaton Mitchell right in the end and bounced off his hands, got picked off. So yeah, the Cleveland's up 10 for a decent portion of this game. They should have won. Their defense played more than well enough to win the game. If they didn't. So yeah, tough one for their defense. Jim Schwartz is legit. The offense is just so bad. But yeah, Baltimore, again, not the prettiest win. Thankfully for them, they won't be seeing the Browns again this season. So obviously, unless it's a playoff match, but obviously that's not going to happen. Yeah, Baltimore, they're 5-5, 4-game win streak. They're getting hot. They're figuring some things out. So Ravens starting to look like the team a lot of us expected them to this year. They're getting hot. Not the prettiest win, but a good win for them here. Browns, tough one. Feel bad for the defense. Lions, Eagles. Oh boy. Oh boy. Well, talk about a defensive game. Both offenses were pretty horrible for this game. The Eagles defense played fantastic. The Lions defense played really good too. But the Eagles defense has played great the past 2 weeks. They allowed 7 to the Packers and 9 to the Lions. So they've only allowed 16 points the last 2 games. So that'll help you win games, obviously. The offense, we thought maybe it figured some things out after the Vikings game and then the second Giants game. Doesn't look like it's been the case. They didn't do too much this game. Hurts was pretty inaccurate. A lot of their points came from default field position because the Lions went 0 of 5 on fourth down, and a lot of them gave the Eagles good field position. The Lions defense played good, kept them in the game. The Eagles defense kept pressuring Goff. Goff was off target. He had a really bad game. Jameson Williams had a catch and run into the end zone. Besides that, the Lions did not have too much going on offense here. What else from this game? See, it was 6-13 entering the fourth, and the Eagles had the field goal. Oh yeah, going for it on fourth down again. 4th and inches. They ran the tush push, and the Lions stopped it. So that was satisfying to see it. They gave Detroit a chance to in the game. There's like 3 minutes left. Just punt the ball the way your defense is playing, and how bad the Lions' offense is. You're going to win the game almost certainly. They went for it, and I know they think the tush push and softball it basically has been, but the defense held them to a field goal after that. The Lions should have gotten the ball back. They got screwed with a horrible PI call. And then the Eagles, they got a first down on a third down a few plays later to really ice the game. Just nailed it out after that. But yeah, the Lions should have had a chance to tie the game, or if they did score a touchdown, they probably would have won for 2. But I don't think they would have. The Eagles defense was playing lights out, although who knows. But yeah, Eagles offense has not been great all year, aside of a couple outliers, like the 2 games I mentioned. And yeah, this game they weren't too good either. The Lions offense, just something's not right this year. Obviously missing Ben Johnson. Defense has been pretty good. I don't think they're missing Aaron Glenn too much. Kelvin Shepherd's done a nice job for the most part, especially with all the injuries. But yeah, it looked like with Dan Morton, they were, I mean, statistically, they were doing better with him than Ben Johnson the first couple weeks, but it's not been too great lately. Campbell, he obviously took over play calling duties 2 weeks ago, called a great game against the Commanders. The Commanders' defense is horrible. They played good against the Dolphins because Dan Quinn was calling it, but the last Joe Witt Commanders game was horrible defensively for them. Going against this Eagles defense, obviously tough draw for him there, but he didn't do too great, much like the team. But yeah, Detroit, they're not the same as they were the past couple seasons, but I still think they'll probably make the playoffs, contend for the division. So tough one for the Lions here. Eagles, they got the win, but it was ugly. The offense is going to figure it out. Cowboys, Raiders. Oh boy, the Raiders are just a complete disaster. I mean, this Dallas defense is awful. They're coming off the bye. New look Dallas defense. They got a bunch of guys back, but I mean, you only put up 16 points against this defense. I mean, that's bad. At home too. Dallas's defense played really good. They got the ball moved on it through portions of the game, but for the most part, they played a really good game. They sacked Geno Smith a decent amount of times too, a good amount of times. It was close early on. The first drive of the game, Pickens and Lamb were benched. It was because of I'm trying to remember what the hell they got benched for. Apparently they were like gambling at a casino like before the game, and they showed up like late or something. They looked like exhausted, something like that. So they got benched the first drive. Then after that, both of them played great, but Pickens especially went off. That's going to be interesting to see what they do with him, if they re-sign him after the season or not. And they mentioned it during the broadcast, Joe Buck did, where it's going to be like Cincinnati if they do, because they're going to pay their receivers the money, and then what's left for the rest of the team, Well, and the quarterback too. But yeah, their defense played good. I don't think it's going to play this good every week. The Raiders' offense and Troy Aikman, he referred to it as not a good test for the Dallas defense. The Raiders' defense or offense and Geno Smith's been horrible for most of the season, except against my team, of course, week 1. But yeah, the Dallas offense played real good. They should have had 40. Lamb had a wide open touchdown uncovered, and he dropped it, bounced off his hands. Not the best throw from Dak. He was under pressure. Lamb should have caught it, so there was no one even in the area. So that should have been a Dallas touchdown. But yeah, the Cowboys, great bounce back win for them. They need it. They get a brutal schedule coming up, so they badly needed this win. Must win for them. They got it. Offense played good, got back in rhythm. Looked like the offense we were used to prior to the last game against Arizona. Defense played good. The Raiders, just a disaster of a year and a disaster of a game. Yeah, got all okay, got all the games here. So yeah, it was a pretty good week. A lot of the past couple weeks, and I think moving forward, there's a lot of games that are tough to pick. So around this time of the seasons where the real teams, the really good teams, kind of the mediocre teams and the bad teams, the frauds, you can say, kind of show their true cards. So yeah, pretty entertaining week. Looks like it's going to be entertaining moving forward. Wild season, certainly saw that in a lot of games here. Entertaining week though. But yeah, I will wrap this video up here. Hopefully you guys enjoyed. Hopefully you did good fantasy betting, picks, all that good stuff, so I always say in these videos. But I'll wrap this video up here. Hopefully you guys enjoyed. Take it easy, guys. Thanks for tuning in. And as always, go Pats.